Alright, so I'm going to show you how to add an actor, and we're going to do it right here in Shades Ranch. So first thing we need to do is we want to go to the room, which scene title shows the addresses of where stuff appears. So right here you can see it's at 26AD000. So that's where I'm going to go in the ROM. So there's two things we want to look for in the scene header. We want to look for the 0B command, which is the objects, which are basically the assets for the actors. So if you don't load the object the actor needs, then the actor can't load. So if we need to add, so we may or may not need to add one of those. And then the other command is the 01 command, which is the actor command, which has all the actors that are in the scene. In this case, I'm not going to need to add an object because I'm just going to put in a square signpost, and square signpost, as you can see, is already loaded here. It's actually, the objects are at offset 60, which is right here, and there's a total of 1, 2, which is 18. So if it starts at 60, it's all these. And right here we see the FC, which is the sign object. So I don't need to add that, but if I was adding a sign somewhere that didn't have this, I would need to add this here or the sign would not load. So that's already taken care of. So I just need to add an actor. They appear at 8-4, and there's 3-6 of them. So 8-4 is right here. And there's 3-6, which is these. So I'm going to move all of these to the end of the file. So I'm going to copy them. And now I'm going to go to the DMA table, which I know is at 1A500. And then I'm going to search for a hex number, and I'm going to search for the room address. So 02, oh, it's already there, 6AD000. Okay. So this I know is my offset. This is the start of the room, and that's the end of the room. And to help make things easier later on, I'm actually just going to write these down. Move this over. 02, 6B, A2, CO. Okay. So now I'm going to go to this address because that is the end of our file. Okay. So from all of this stuff going back to the beginning is the file, and then this is where it ends. So I'm going to paste in that actor list right here. And then I'm going to copy and paste this last actor and duplicate it to add an extra one in. And I'm going to change it to square signpost. The first 2 bytes are the ID, and 88 is square signpost. The last 2 bytes are the variable, which I'm going to set the 2E because that's one of my custom, that's the ID to one of my custom clue texts here, and Ice Arrow is missing. So now that we've added this is no longer the endpoint of the file. This is down here. So we need to update where it has listed as the end of the file to be this address, which is whatever this line is right below where the file's no longer. I'm going to copy that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back to the beginning of the ROM, and I'm going to search for not only that, but I'm also going to add on this other part here too. 02, 6B, A2C0. So that brings me here. So now I want to replace the ending with my new ending that I copied. So this is the DMA table entry. The other thing is the scene file also has the room listings per stage. So you can see here in scene title, there's 7 different stages. So that means there's 7 places in the scene file. We also need to update the end address. But since we're searching for the start and end address, we can just do a search and it should find it. It is, I'd say it's kind of unlikely it's going to find something else, but it's possible, so you just want to make sure. The scene file starts at 269000, 26901B0. This is pretty close, so we know this is right. So I just need to replace the end address, and I need to do this. So this is for stage 1. I also need to do this for the other 6 stages, so I need to search again. So that's 1, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So now, yeah, I can't find it anymore, so that's all of them. So now we're going to go back to this address. So this is where our table is. We have the file size changed, and all that should be done, taken care of. We did the DMA table, we did all the stages for the scene. So now what we need to do is we need to tell this file for stage 1, which is the main place you normally are in the ranch, that the data appears here rather than where it was originally. So to get that offset, we're going to select from the byte before back here, and then we're going to bring up the select box, and we're going to type in the address to the beginning of the room, which is the 26AD00. And then that gives us this length here, which this is the offset at where this data appears now. So that's what we want to put in. So we're going to copy that. And now we're going to go back to the beginning of the room again. And in our actor list here, we're going to add one on because we added an extra one. And then we're also going to update this offset. So this tells it that there's 3 7 actors instead of 3 6, and that they appear at this offset. So now we need to save this. I'm going to close both of these, and now the ROM will actually not work, and I'll show that quickly. So it's just a black screen, nothing happens, and that's because since we changed the file size, we had to update the DMA table. The DMA table is part of the ROM that calculates a checksum as to whether it's a valid ROM and it should run it. So since we changed that, it's invalid right now, so we need to update that. So I'm going to take my ROM, and I have this program. It's called RN64CRC2. It's a program that can update that for us. So I have this script just to run, and I type in the file name, and right here you see it says it's Majora's Mask, and it updated the CRCs for us. So now they are correct. So now the ROM should work. And there you see, now it's going. So before we actually do that, let's go back to scene title. I'm going to open up our ROM again. Go to the ranch. Go to stage 1 in our room 1. And in our actor list, we added an extra actor at the end. I just duplicated the last one, which was this gossip stone here behind the barn. So you can see there's also a square signpost. Never mind. I copied something different, I guess. It's at like 32,000. That's way far away. So we're going to set these all to 0. Okay, there's our actor. So it's right here. We moved it to 0, 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it just right over here by the entrance. Good enough. For the rotations, you generally want to set OX7, OX7F, and OX7F. The 7 here and the 7F on the Z, the X and Z rotations contain when the object, the actor should be present. So 7 and 7F mean all days, all nights. If you only want it to be there on a certain day or certain night, you just gotta adjust these values to be what you want. The Y rotation, the value here uses like a mini cutscene to place, but 7F tells it there is none. So unless you actually want one to play, you're not going to be setting that. Anyways, in general, you just want to use 7, 7F, 7F. And then in this case, my message is at ID 2E, so I put that there. So I'm going to save that change that I moved it over here. And I'm going to reload the ROM. And now I can check to see if it's actually there. Should be, though. And I'm going to cheat to go faster, because I am not going to run all the way to the ranch. So I'm going to just warp there. So there's our sign. It's at a weird rotation, but you can mess with that later. And you can read it. And there you see my clue 1 text. So yeah, that's all there is to it. Pretty simple.